Hello, my name's Fabian Dolan. I help beginner guitarists become a lot more advanced. I went to music school, music university, so you don't have to. Yeah, I have some valuable advice for you. Today, I've got a video for you on the easiest way to improve at guitar. If you struggle with like just finding the time to practice and kind of working on things to improve your playing, I've got some advice for you in this video. So, what separates a pro guitarist from an amateur? Think about that for a second, right? You probably think it's like something very advanced, like some understanding of music theory or just kind of technicality. And while a pro musician does have that, an amateur musician can also have that and still not be very good at the guitar, right? What makes someone a professional is how many hours they've put into their instrument and how much they've honed their craft. And what makes it easy as a guitarist to be able to put those hours in? The thing that makes that pro musician more likely to put the hours in is how easy it is for them to pick up their instrument. It's stupidly simple, right? They have access to a guitar pretty much anywhere and everywhere they go, right? So what do? When they wake up in the morning, they have a guitar everywhere. It's so easy for them to pick up the instrument and play, right? And this is what makes them able to improve their craft so much easier, because they have access to their instrument, which makes them more likely to actually work on their craft. So if you have an instrument and you keep it away in a case or like behind a cupboard somewhere that you can't really see it, this is going to hurt your ability to actually improve at your instrument, because there is an extra barrier for you to be able to pick it up and actually start playing. The one thing that is required for you to actually practice is to actually have the instrument. So how do we make this as easy as possible to pick up the instrument in the first place? Just keep an instrument around where you can always see it. It also, side note, it also helps to have an instrument that you kind of like the look of as well, something that you feel inspired when you look at it to pick it up and kind of just start messing around with it. That is the first barrier to practice, is literally just picking up the instrument. It's that simple. Like, think about it. Like, do you practice every day? The answer is probably no, right? And again, everyone's guilty of this at some point. Every musician has kind of skipped days, right? And the reason that you probably don't practice every day is because it's hard to pick up that instrument. If you picked up the instrument, eventually you're going to start playing with it and messing around, and eventually you'll be able to find something that you can work on, or something you can just enjoy playing. And just by spending time on the instrument, you're just naturally going to get better over time, right? So once we pick up the instrument, what do we have to do to actually get better and improve, right? All it takes is around 5 or 10 minutes every day. I'm not asking you to do like 5-hour practice sessions, something extreme, right? You can do that if you want to, but I don't think that's sustainable. Personally, I don't do that. I don't do 5-hour practice sessions. It just kind of seems like way too much of an investment for the return that you get out of it. All you have to do, just pick up the instrument for 5 or 10 minutes every single day, and you will find out yourself what you need to work on when you pick the thing up. When you pick up your instrument, what is the first thing you do? You probably just kind of like mess around with like some scale that you already know, or like play a riff that you've played before. And then eventually you're going to get frustrated or bored for some reason. That is where you find out what you need to practice. It's when something goes wrong. That's what you need to focus on, right? If you have the instrument and you can't really create any music yourself, there's probably something for you to be able to learn that, right? So you might want to practice how to go between different chords, what kind of chords in a key work with each other, and how to kind of create music with those chords, right? Or maybe you even kind of already know this information, what you have to practice is how to use it and be creative with it. Maybe that's what you need to do, right? But you will only be able to find this out for yourself once you pick up the instrument and you get to a point where you are frustrated. It's the frustration which is the key to show you which direction you're supposed to go in. And again, for every musician and every player, that's going to be a different set of problems. So you need to be able to figure this out yourself, right? So if that is a problem and you're kind of like, you don't even know what to do when you pick up the instrument, right? You pick it up, you just have no clue what to do. I would suggest this. Think about what players inspire you. Which players do you like listening to? Which artists or bands you like listening to music? Which guitar players in those bands do you like hearing? And figure out what they're doing that makes the music enjoyable for you, and then just learn those techniques. So figure out what chords someone might be using, what scales they use, how they play the instrument. Do they use a pick? Do they use just like finger style? And figure out kind of what positions they play stuff in, right? And then learn those, take inspiration from that, and then kind of make your own stuff with what they're using. Take those ideas and make your own version of it, right? So take like a phrase that someone might be playing, and then change the rhythm slightly. Make it your own thing. Like think, if I could enjoy this more and make it my own, what would I do to it? Try and make someone else's. This is a bit arrogant, especially if you're not a very good guitar player yet, and you're learning from like someone who's really good. Like let's say you're learning like a Jimi Hendrix phrase or something like that. Learn like a certain lick from a song or a solo, and then think, how could I make this more enjoyable for myself and make it better? So think about that, and then try just slightly adjusting like a note or two, or like slightly adjust the rhythm. And then before you know it, you have your own original phrase and idea. So learn someone else's scales, chords, and techniques. And then also try challenging yourself by learning it all by ear as well. Like this is what people used to do before the internet existed. They would put on their favorite albums, hear someone play the instrument, and learn it by ear. Just try and figure out on the guitar as they go along. And again, this is a very frustrating process if you're not very good, but you kind of have to start being terrible, and then over time you get better, right? Think about it this way, like when you first go to the gym, the weights that you can lift are extremely small, and it's a horrible workout. It feels quite embarrassing. It's very frustrating. But once you keep applying that over time, sooner you're going to get stronger and more comfortable with what you're doing, right? The same applies for learning stuff by ear and just practicing in general, right? The first time you practice, or the first couple of minutes you practice every single day are going to be bad. Just accept that. It's not going to be fun. But it gets better over time once you stick to it. You have to keep that mindset involved, right? So try learning stuff by ear, and you might actually make a mistake along the way that sounds cool. You'll kind of learn something different by accident, and then again, before you know it, you have your own unique phrase and idea. And even if you learn how to play something by ear, note for note, your phrasing might be different because you might play it on a different position on the guitar from the original recording that you're actually listening to. So again, this is a nice way to kind of create your own unique influence on how you play the guitar. And again, if you're just learning songs and phrases and being able to play along with it is going to teach you how to play in time with a band as well. So that is a fun way, instead of using a metronome, to be able to practice music as well, is to play along to a song, right? If you say you're a musician at all and you can't play your favorite song, there's probably a bit of a problem there. If you find the piece of music that inspires you the most and then start learning it. The practice is going to be fun because you love that song, right? And then by learning that song and being able to play along with it, you've advanced your musicianship. You've become a better player already. So, what if you're a beginner and doing all this is too confusing and already too much for you? You say you want to learn how to play your first song, your favorite song, whatever, but it's too far out of reach for you. You can't really do that yet. It's too frustrating. You can't make anything sound good on the instrument. You need to be able to learn some fundamentals of the instrument first. So what I would advise is learn how to play a scale all over the guitar. So from one starting position all the way to another. I'll show you here of like. So we have the first position of the minor pentatonic, and then being able to move that. And then so on and so on across the fretboard. So if you're a beginner musician, you kind of don't really know what you're doing yet, and learning songs are it's too far out of reach. Learn some fundamentals first. So again, I'd advise learning the 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale. Learn how to harmonize the major scale. So what does that mean? That means being able to play every single chord in a key, right? There's only 7 of them. It's pretty easy. I've got a video that I've already made on this. I'll link it somewhere in the description or something like that. You'll be able to learn from that. And finally, what I'd recommend is learn how to play triads and their inversions. I think once you've got those 3 kind of fundamentals down, you'll be able to start learning some beginner songs and seeing how those songs apply those concepts. And then you'll be able to incorporate them into your playing and become a more advanced musician. Again, if you're struggling with this, I offer one-to-one lessons. If you're interested about that, check the link below in the description. I'll be able to advance your playing. If not, if you feel like you're already there, hopefully you found some useful advice from this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you will subscribe for more.